Hello everyone, it's Ricardo from Do More, Be More. Today we'll be looking at 10 tips that will help you keep your job. So it's appropriate that I'm doing it when I'm getting ready for work. How do I look? Look okay? Well, I just realized I actually am a day early and I work in the medical field, so never mind.
In a city like New York, anything is possible. That includes your well thought out plans going straight down the drain. Fortunately for you, that happened to me, and I've decided to include you in my trip to doing the best that I can with what I have to be the best that I can be. Whatever that means.
So you know you're a New Yorker when you look at your phone and you see the weather's 45 degrees and you're already celebrating because you're thinking it's summertime. Meanwhile, we're still in the beginning of February. Anyways, let's move on with the 10 tips that we're going to discuss for today. So number one is punctuality. Punctuality is important because it shows the person who hired you that you care about their time, not about the job. Because if you get the job done in half the time, it doesn't really matter what time you get there. But when you get there on time, or even better, early, it shows that you value the time that they're paying you. Because yes, they're paying you to be there, not to do the work. The work, that's to be determined later. Now, if you show disrespect to the time that they're giving you to work, they're gonna see it as a bad habit, and they'll start thinking of more things that can lead up to. And if you want to keep your job, that is not a habit you want to hold on to. Now we go to step number 2, which is to take initiative. Any employee who takes initiative will be the person who fulfills their promise that every single person makes when they go for a job interview. Every time that they start with a job interview, one of the most promising qualities that they say they have is that they take initiative. But it's possible that only half of those people really keep their promise of doing that. Now, to take initiative, you have to first, be observant of what's around you so that you can know what needs to be done ahead of time, or that you can do on your own without asking questions. It's important to do that. And then, since you're qualified for the job and possibly more, you'll have the knowledge within you and the instinct to know when to act, even if something is not being told for you to do on your end. That's what taking initiative means. Step number 3 is being a positive worker. Being a positive worker is very important because it creates an atmosphere around you that not only makes it easier for you, it makes it easier for the people around you, and most of all, it makes it easier for the people that are keeping an eye on you. The reason that it's such a undercover quality is that we can't just go around saying, hey, I'm a positive person. Hey, I'm positive. I'm positive. I'm positive. Then you're going to look like a weirdo if you do that. So by maintaining the attitude that certain things can be done, and if it can't, there's a different solution, it shows people that you're not trying to create drama when there's already trouble or some kind of unorganized system going on that needs help. If you're willing to keep your cool in these situations, and you're looking for alternative solutions, it really shows that you're being observant of your surroundings. And if you're being positive in every single aspect that you do, people are going to want you around. Again, that involves your coworkers, and most of all, the people that are keeping an eye on you. And those are the people that should the event, and in the event that there should be a downsizing, you're not going to be the person considered in that downsizing because they need positive individuals just like yourself. Steps number 4 and 5 sound very similar, but they couldn't be more unsimilar. Or dissimilar, different. Nevertheless, number 4 is to surround yourself with the good employees. This is actually very important because it becomes a trade-off of good qualities that you both have. You end up working with the people that have the good habits of working hard and have a good reputation. Those qualities are going to rub off on you. And people can tell when who you hang out with are the people that you tend to be like, who you aspire to be like, and it's a good look on yourself. And it also shows them that you value those qualities and that you wish to improve the ones you already have. Step number 5 would be staying away from negative influences. This is simply not an indifference. This is actually a lack of interest. It's actually a proactive movement to stay away from a negative influence. Because when you go into an office, you go into a workplace, you know exactly who those people are. Some of them take some time to figure out. But you'll see when a person starts talking behind other people's back, when they want you to engage in those conversations, that's automatically the type of attitude that you don't want to surround yourself with, because it's going to also put you in that circle, making you seem like you talk like that as well, even if all you're doing is listening. So you may want to be careful with that, because then after a certain time, as you begin to tolerate it, it may rub off on you, and then you might end up talking about other people. And it's only a matter of time before someone talks about you, and you're going to wonder why that ever happened. But can you really be surprised as to why it happened? I really like this next one, is to voice your opinions in meetings and in other situations with your coworkers with confidence. It's important to let yourself be heard. You don't want to make people listen to you. You don't want to scream it out, per se, symbolically speaking. And you want to make sure that when you do speak, you do it with confidence. You want to make sure that they know that you back what you're saying, and you're not just simply trying to throw 2 cents in. Because a lot of people try to do that just for the mere sake of being considered as someone who's really participating. They'll say anything, really anything that comes to their mind, and that's the type of person you are. You're thoughtful about what you're going to say, and then once you say them, you know that you've gotten some sincere investigation behind it. Which brings me to the next step, is to being honest and to knowing your facts. So being an honest worker relieves a lot of stress that you don't need. Because when you're being honest in the workplace, what you're doing is you're freeing yourself of having to remember anything. Just like the phrase says, if you always tell the truth, you never have to remember a thing. So when someone asks you if a certain a job had to be done by a certain time, and you tell them the truth, or you simply don't know and you're honest about it, people are going to believe you, and you're never going to get into any trouble that you don't need. Knowing your facts is just as important, because you're basing it on investigation and things that you truly valued, because it's something that's going to contribute to the company. Now, Ben Shapiro once said in an interview that facts simply don't care about your feelings. Now, I really believe that, because at the end of the day, you can't deny a fact if it's proven to be true. There might be emotions circling around a certain discussion, but if you're showing them that you really did your research, that you investigated, those any kind of educated opinion that you might have might be then backed by the foundation of real investigated truth that no one else will be able to deny. Next, you want to be assertive and not rude. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be a rude person, even if you think you're right, but you want to be assertive of everything you say. Again, this kind of goes in line with being confident, except that this time you're pushing really pushing forward with what you said, and you don't plan to find an alternative to that, I should say, because you know that this is the possible way. So your assertion will be backed by the argument that shows why certain ideas that you bring to the table are definitely the ones that will work. So when you do that, you'll also, again, you're telling them that you're contributing something, because you're not simply there to do the job, you're there to figure things out, and you're there to make things better. Coming in at number 9, we have being clean and organized. This is one that I think anybody will agree with. Personally speaking, I can appreciate someone who takes care of the environment around them, making sure that nothing is making the work, the rhythm of the place go awry, I should say. If you're leaving things around, and as you're trying to get through the day, there's all these things in the way, and all the things that you normally would need to reach and to access while you're working are suddenly blocked by certain things that people are leaving around, and it's definitely not professional to do that. And there's always signs that say you shouldn't be eating in a workplace. If you don't respect that, at least consider others before you do anything, because it'll definitely have an effect on your coworkers. It'll make you look a certain way, and the people that are observing you, again, they're the ones that are aware of everything. They come in and they say, hey, good morning everyone, but they don't tell you anything. And it's not their job to tell you. They're not your parents. So don't think, oh, they're being sneaky, they're passing by and they don't talk about anything. No, because they have other things to do. They have bigger fish to fry. So they don't need to just sit around all day and wait to see when you're eating so they can walk inside the room. They just happen to pass by, they see you eating, you're caught, and that's it. So either you choose to do it at a different time, at a different place, or you do it more organized, and you find if there's another place where you can do that, and you cause less problems for your coworkers, and then you also have a better impression on your supervisor. Because if it comes to the point where they give you a tip and you follow through, that also means that you're willing to go with instructions that they're giving you, even if it wasn't a slightly negative note. But it's even better to simply not have had that trouble to begin with. Being organized also makes you look like you care about what's going on around you, that you take care of the computers that they give you, the equipment that they give you to get the job done, and it shows that you value the things that they're investing. And when they see that, they also see the value in another investment they made, which is you, and your reputation definitely goes up with that. Last but definitely not least, and maybe one of my personal favorites, is to learn the personalities of your coworkers. This is important because when it comes to asking a question or getting assistance or delegating a certain job, if you have people that are working under you, you want to know who is right for the job. And you can also base this not just on their skills and their aptitudes, but their personalities as well. If you do this correctly, everybody will be working in harmony, and it definitely leads to production getting done more properly, and probably at a better rate. If you're new at a workplace and you want to take care of this particular step, well, obviously you can't do it on the first day. You need to be observant, and you make your way like that. And you take your time, you look at people's habits, and as you see that they react to certain things a certain way, you take that as a note. You don't go ahead and judge someone based on one day. Because anyone can have a bad day at any given time. That could be you, and if someone judges you, you wouldn't appreciate that. That's why first impressions, unfortunately, they shouldn't count, but they do a lot. But that's not going to be you. You're not going to be judging people according to the first impression. What you're going to do is you're going to analyze these things, because in the event that one day you have to lead, you're definitely going to have to be familiar with the characteristics of each person within your workplace. And if you do that, people are going to want you around more. It's going to be easier because they know that they can count on you to be an easygoing person. And even though everybody has work to do, even though everybody has to be doing something and it's keeping them busy, at the end of the day, they'll do probably anything that they're asked of if they're given an environment that's calm and it's easy to be around. And I think we can all agree that nobody minds working hard, but we kind of do mind when there's an environment that's a little bit hostile. Maybe you have to tiptoe over people's feelings and emotions, and these things just sort of get in the way of the actual work, and that's exactly why we're there, and no other reason really. So I think that's also a step that's very important in my opinion. Each of these steps are very important in their own way. You can apply them to your workplace however you see fit. You'll see that maybe one is more effective than the other, but in a way, they're all going to help you in a certain aspect. And as you apply them, you'll see which one needs to be addressed at what time. Maybe there's more steps that I'm missing. I'm not saying that this is the only 10 steps you'll need that'll help you to keep your job. And if by all means you do come up with better steps than these, please comment them below. If you have any questions as to what may or may not work and why I think certain step will work, ask me in the comments. You want me to talk about it in the video, you let me know as well, and I'll be happy to bring it up on one of the videos as long as I find that I can put it in one of the videos in which it fits the topic correctly. And I can always just put it in the comments and address them there if anything. Again, I'm very grateful for you guys coming here and checking out the tips that I'm giving you. I look forward to giving you the next video and hope to have you coming over to see those. And remember, if you apply these, you'll definitely have a more secure spot in your workplace. You'll have that upper hand, and advantage in your workplace. So that is all for today, everyone. Remember, if you do more, you will be more.